What is up, everyone? Welcome to this study with me video. If you're looking for a tutorial, if you're looking for a hand tutorial, you came to this and you thought this was a tutorial, I have a link in the description for an actual tutorial that has like a free worksheet, all that stuff, a video. I'll link that in the description and on the screen here. Bam, look at it. Wow. That's a tutorial. This is not a tutorial. This is me practicing, right? So let's get into it. If you're practicing, obviously use reference. I am using a reference here, but it is off screen because I do not own the images. So therefore, probably not a good idea to put it on the video, but always use reference if you're studying, unless you're trying to memorize, right? So what you do if you're trying to memorize something new is you study from reference and then you try to take it from memory after, right? So you keep jumping between the two so that you keep rehearsing the ability to learn things, to be able to draw things from memory, right? So hands are a pain in the butt. It's very challenging to draw hands, which probably if you've ever tried drawing hands, very challenging because each of the fingers have their own perspective, which makes it so that you have to be really good at drawing perspective if you're trying to draw semi-realistic hands, right? There are obviously stylized versions where you don't have to focus on perspective as much, but if you want to get good at drawing hands, you have to be pretty good at perspective eyes, because these fingers are basically like tubes sitting in space, and they can all twist and turn in different ways. And the worst part is that they'll be slightly different. The perspective will be slightly different in each finger, and that's a big part of what makes something feel natural. The fingers feel the most natural when if you look at your hand, you look at how your fingers sit. They each sit kind of in a similar pathway, in terms of perspective, but they're just slightly off. So you got to get that nuance when drawing fingers, which is very challenging. You could probably see me fail a bunch. Yeah, you're watching me fail a bunch on this page, and that is why we're practicing, right? If you're not failing, then you're probably not studying something that you actually need to study, right? A study has to be something that you're not necessarily good at, unless you're trying to get even better at it, but it has to be you have to be focused in a way where you're actually helping yourself. There's no point in, if you've drawn something 1,000 times and you're good at it, it's probably not going to help you. It's probably not going to help you to quote unquote study it, because you've already studied it. It's easy, right? That's why hands, my friends, are probably going to be the thing that I'm going to be studying for the rest of the year and probably the rest of my life, because oh boy, are they challenging. And the thing is, a lot of my character designs don't have faces in them anymore. So the hands are the only thing that's the proper anatomy, the thing that I actually need to know how to do. And if I screw up the hands, then it's oh, that's not a good luck, my dude. That's not a good luck. Oh my God. It's really challenging, but I have to say, it is rewarding. When you draw a hand that's pretty good, you're like, hey, there is a direct correlation, right, between something being challenging and something being rewarding. The more challenging it is to learn, the more rewarding it is to do it right. And I'm hoping that in the next couple of years, I'll get pretty decent at drawing hands. And that way I'll have that, finally I can draw hands without feeling stressed out about it, which is how I felt doing these studies. And the best thing about hands, which let's not just trash on hands. Hands are actually really useful in showing expression, right? You can be so expressive with hands in the same way you can be expressive with your face, right? A clenched fist is so much different than an open hand, right? It says so much about what the character is going through. Even the wrist, just the flexion of the wrist can make an image look so different, right? And I think that's a big part of why learning how to draw hands is really important if you want to do a semi-realistic style, right? It's important to understand what's happening, because then you can be way more expressive. It's the same as drawing faces. And that is why I'm practicing hands today, and I'll be doing tons more of this. I don't know whether or not to record it all, because I don't know if that's particularly interesting, but oh boy, this was challenging. This was a challenge to do. If you like this, feel free to follow along by subscribing or getting on the mailing list on the website. Make sure that if you are learning how to draw hands, make sure to check out the tutorial, because I have a free worksheet that you can print out and help you practice. And I also have a video tutorial to explain the free worksheet. So you get that double whammy of practice, understanding through video. It's all about hands-on practice, no pun intended. And that's it Hope you guys like this. If you want me to do more of these types of videos where I do studies, or if you don't want more of these and you're like, hey dude, just make more personal art, I don't really care what you're studying, feel free to let me know, right? Here to serve you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.